Welcome to Get Pod Local.
I'm Joey Cade, Dallas Precinct Chair and President of the Funky East Dallas Democrats, a local Democratic club we call the Feds.
Love that name. And I'm Jalon Nichols, a lifelong Democratic voter and a lifelong Black woman.
Boom.
On today's show, we are in the final dash of the 2024 election, and there's nowhere you can hide.
Nor should you want to. In Dallas, we have a super lengthy ballot this year, and every single vote on the ballot is important.
And just to prove that point, we have Dallas County Democratic Party Chairman Kardal Coleman to walk us through why you should vote early and the process of it all, just to ease your mind.
Vote.
In the era of Texas, where so much voter suppression is lurking and waiting to happen, we have to be positive and upbeat about how we welcome people into the polls.
That was Kardal Coleman. Not only is he the Dallas Dems party chair, he's also our first Black chairman, whom we recently overwhelmingly reelected.
Incredible. We'll have more with Kardal in a bit. But first, we here at Get Pod Local want to make sure you walk into the voting booth ready and confident.
By now, you probably have an idea of who you want to vote for president and senator.
Please, dear God. I'm begging you. Please already know.
Yeah.
Please. Please. Pretty please. But there is so much more on your ballot. Our focus is on the Dallas County races and the city propositions. But we'll make sure to point you in the right direction for your specific ballot, even if you don't happen to be one of our neighbors.
We're going to be beating the drum on these propositions every single episode because we had some scary extremists sneak these three onto our ballots and no one wants them.
So now it's our job as voters to make sure that this stops. And when we say nobody wants them, we mean it. Not one person on city council, no matter what side of the political aisle they're on, wants these. Not even our mayor. There's one prop forcing Dallas PD to hire 900 new police officers, but without providing the funds. And the Dallas PD does not want this, and the city can't afford it.
We even had Dallas mayors, past and present, who vote both Democratic and Republican, come together against these insane props because we cannot have them pass.
There's not one public official that I know that has come out for these things, okay? Everybody says this is terrible.
Not only can we not have them pass, these three could bankrupt our city. And honestly, we do not have time for this. We have the World Cup coming in 2026. We have the most matches in any other North American city. Be fucking for real.
Exactly. So this is your warning. We will be talking about propositions every episode. Like we said, there are 18 props on our ballots in the city of Dallas. If you live in one of the other 48 cities in Dallas County, that's right, there are 49 cities in Dallas County. Yeah, I had a Wikipedia, but you won't have these props on your ballots if you're in the other 48 cities. But in Dallas City, you will. But we'll make sure to point you in the right direction to find what's on your ballot as well.
Exactly. And luckily for us in Dallas, they have made this so easy for us.
Here is your cheat sheet. Vote yes on the first 15, A through R. Vote no on the last 3, S, T, and U. No.
Still worried you won't remember? I got you. Don't vote stupid. No to S, T, and U.
Knowing what's on your ballot is the first start to becoming a confident voter.
But Joey, what do you do with all this information?
Go vote?
I know, but when? Where? How? Who's all going to be there? What do I wear?
Relax, Jalon. I have someone who can help.
Oh, God. Our first guest is the first Black chair, like we said, of the Dallas County Democratic Party. And he and his team have been doing so many amazing things. I think you're right. He might be the perfect person to help me with all these questions.
Joining us now is Kardal Coleman. So we are going to talk about planning your vote. Mm-hmm. So, do you mind listing some of those specifics?
Yeah. So everybody talks about November 5th, which is Election Day Tuesday, right? Or the election day. But we want to encourage you to vote early and often. So we want people to vote on the first day of early vote, which is October 21st. Yep. So don't wait until election day because things may happen. We may have inclement weather. Something might pop up. But make sure that you vote as early as you can. Then we'll have 2 weeks starting on October 21st to be able to vote during early vote. Make sure you take advantage of that period. Mm-hmm. So that's what we want people to do is vote early during early vote to make sure that there's no hiccups on election day, November 5th.
And when we say vote early and often, I usually think that means, and tell me if I'm wrong, I usually think that means make sure you've put it on your calendar 3 times
right.
within the early vote. So you have 3 plans in place to make it work. Because like you said, on election day, you could have the flu or your car could break down on the way to vote, and then you're not able to have your vote count.
And people always ask the question, what's the last day I can do it? Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Here's the first day you can do it.
October 21.
And then you have 2 weeks after that, to give yourself a buffer.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Some of the other perks of voting early is you can go anywhere.
Anywhere.
To vote. So, like, it's your lunch break. There's a place near your office. Pop in, pop out. Low lines.
Yeah.
In and out.
Yep.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
And you fall off the list too.
Yeah. No more phone calls.
No more
Text
text
Stop
messages.
bothering you. Yeah.
Like, you can vote anywhere in Dallas County, any place that's a voting location. You don't have to go to a specific precinct. So,
And that's the same even on election day.
even on election
Correct.
day.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about weekend voting?
Yeah, weekend voting is important. You have extended hours. Polls are normally open a little bit longer, and then they open on what we call Souls to the Polls Sunday for for our individuals who are faith centered or faith based, or churches who a lot of churches are polling locations as well.
Yep.
Right? So after your Sunday service, you can go to a local congregation or a local church and be able to vote there as well. So weekend voting is very important. It's very key, especially for folks who are working late hours, working a couple of jobs. Maybe you just can't get there during the week and you have to find a sitter. The weekend should be more ideal for a lot of voters.
You know, we try to organize within our own group. So I'm trying to find these white ladies. So I always have like a brunch and vote. We'll go have brunch, then we all go vote together, and then we know
I
we
love that.
all got it done. I got all those 30 ladies to go vote.
Weekday, weekend.
Weekend, yeah, on a Saturday or Sunday, we usually do that. Yeah.
So let's do some voting tips.
Yeah.
Just so we can make sure everybody is very educated. There's 18 propositions on our ballot in Dallas. There's no way that you can memorize all 18. There's an easy way to memorize how to vote, but if you want to vote differently, can you talk about what you can bring into the booth with you?
Yeah.
Kind of help people.
So you can bring any form of voter guide with you into the booth, right? So as you walk into the vote center, you cannot have it open or out in your hand. It could be in your pocket, tucked away in your purse, bag, whatever you have, right? But once you actually step to your voting booth, you can pull it out and you can use that as your guide for voting. So you're able to use it. You just can't have it out as you're checking in or walking around with it, because someone may say you're influencing someone else to vote.
Yeah. And it can't be your phone because
It cannot be a phone. No electronic devices inside the vote center.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. You may want to take a photo. They're not going to like letting you do that.
Yeah.
No.
Just
Don't
write
do
it
that.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old school handwriting.
Speaking about, you mentioned that you can take out the paper once you get to vote. We've heard, right, that one of the most common reasons people don't vote is because they can't picture it. They get anxiety about what is it going to be like? What are the questions I might get asked? Could you walk through just sort of like what the process looks like? You arrive at your voting center, then what happens?
Listen, there are a lot of what I call spirited people in the parking lot, and I don't want to make it a negative thing.
I'm a spirited person at a polling place.
Okay, so let's just act like it's our own little pep rally, right? So
That's what we do. I got my tambourine.
There you go. You get to this polling location, and there are people who are trying to encourage you to vote for their candidate, their issue, proposition, what have you. So once you get there, there are a lot of people who get out of the car and say, I already know who I'm voting for. I know what I came to do. Those are educated voters who have already done their homework.
Yep.
There's some people who may still be undecided. And if you are undecided, then you have poll greeters there waiting to welcome you into this spirit line and give you a little cheer on the way in. And so they'll hand you information. They'll call out their candidates' names or their issues on the ballot, different propositions. Make sure they get one final kind of message across to you before you get inside. So make sure that you have your information. If you don't have it, you can get all your election information, candidate information from the Dallas County Democratic Party, social media, website, what have you. But once you get to the polling location, there'll be poll greeters waiting to welcome you through the spirit line.
With their tambos.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just me. Most people aren't that crazy.
Yeah.
But look, man, in the era of Texas, where so much voter suppression is lurking and waiting to happen, living in the state of General Ken Paxton and the likes, like, we have to be positive and upbeat about how we welcome people into the polls.
I think that's important to kind of just warn people, especially if they're not voters all the time or first time. It can feel a little daunting. Like, this is important. They keep telling me how important this is, every election cycle, it's like it's the most important election. I think this one is actually the most important
Yeah.
of our lifetime.
Yep.
So, it's a safe place. There's people there that are going to help you and guide you.
Yep.
If you get through the parking lot, you have you're an introvert and people are bothering you too much, just get inside.
Yeah.
There's people inside to help you and guide you, and it's quick.
Also, you don't have to vote alone, right?
Right.
You can, if
Yep.
the process may be a little daunting or unfamiliar to you, a first-time voter, or you don't vote often, bring somebody to the polls with you.
Yeah.
Right. Bring a friend, bring a family member. This is a historic election. Like,
Big deal.
the way that our country is going to be run and governed for years to come is going to be determined in this election.
Yeah.
Big
So
time.
this should be a moment where every friend and family gets to experience history together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've arrived. They planned their vote. They got to their voting center. They've been cheered or given the information they needed to get inside. Then what?
The Dallas County Democratic Party has recruited a ton of election judges and clerks. Most people don't know, outside of running the election, we kind of serve as a staffing agency as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we recruit all the people who are working the polls, election judges, clerks, and then so those individuals are ready to welcome you. And so there are individuals who are there to help assist you if you have any questions, to make sure that you are able to vote in a free, fair, safe election. Now, there are also poll watchers, people who are in there to just monitor. They cannot talk to you. They're just there to observe. That's all they can do is observe and take notes. So there should not be any interference in the polling location. Your election judge is the authority within that polling location on the inside.
Yep.
Everything within the 100-foot marker and in the inside of the building, that election judge is there to be pretty much your ultimate referee to make sure that you have a great experience when you vote.
Yep.
So it should put you at ease a bit to know that the individuals who are there to assist you.
And the reason why the Democratic Party locally helps, basically, like you said, like as a recruiting firm, is that, the elections office, right, just puts out, we're hiring,
Yes.
like any other election office, any other county. And we, as Democrats, want to make sure that there are Democratic representatives on staff in every location so that voters know there's going to be a balance there. Not everyone that's inside that room is going to be a Republican.
No.
Obviously, some of them could be. But we've verified that every location is going to have some Democrats so that people always know there's going to be a friend there.
And
Not everyone's going to be giving you a hard
A
time.
Democratic county, we go above and beyond. And so there are probably more Democratic individuals there than Republican. And then a step
Yep.
further, because representation matters, there are individuals there who are bilingual as well. So
Yep.
if English is not your first language, there's somebody there that can speak Spanish to you at majority of these polling locations. And then we've also recruited for individuals who speak Vietnamese.
I was going to say Vietnamese as well.
Yeah.
You can vote, right, in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese, I believe.
Vietnamese.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you do that, like on the screen, it will actually be in your language. So,
In your language. Shout
Yeah.
out to Jasmine Flores for helping to make that
Yeah.
possible.
yes.
Okay, so there's people that are phone banking, they're emailing, they're social mediaing. What else can
Yeah, what
people
can
do to help get out the vote, encourage people to vote, especially early?
One thing I didn't hear you say is block walk.
Oh,
Knock some doors with us.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're having block walks multiple times a week to be able to talk to people at their doors.
Maybe it's your first time block walking. First of all, go with a friend. Super fun.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Block walking is super fun. And you just focus on the issues. You're not asking them, are you going to vote Democratic? Why wouldn't you vote Democratic? Like, it's not an argument about a political party. It's about, well, what would make you want to vote? What issue is important to you in your life? And really, that way you align with that person. Oh, gosh, me too. That's why I want to get out and vote, is protect women's right to bodily autonomy. And so it's kind of an issues thing. You're out there block walking, but you're talking about the things that you care about too.
Yeah. I want to highlight two things at that point. We have a newer kind of landing page additional to our home website, and you can find this information on our website, dallasdemocrats.org, but it has issues, it has polling locations. It's pretty much a one-stop shop for if you're planning to vote and you need information. Where do I go? What are the issues? Who's the candidates on the ballot? You can find all of that on this landing page that's on our website.
Okay.
So that's a new addition that we've made. And my last point on the voter experience. Before you get to the parking lot, hopefully you will see these new billboard campaign that we have, right? So as you're driving to the polls, there are billboards all around Dallas County that have these specific voter messages on them as well. Once you get to the polling location and you get inside, we have a volunteer attorney boiler room hotline situation led by attorney Louis Bedford. So if you happen to get in the polls and you say something about my experience didn't feel okay, or I have a question about this, maybe I was handed a provisional ballot and I didn't quite know what to do. We have a hotline that you can call into our county headquarters, and there are attorneys waiting to answer your call and kind of walk you through that process. Whether you have already voted or you step aside and say, I need to call someone, make sure this is right, I'm being told the right thing. So there's another layer there of voter protection and volunteer attorneys at our headquarters that'll be there to answer questions for
So
you.
let's say the person's going to vote, they've handed them their ID, and then the person has a question, whatever reason it may be. Maybe their registration is currently suspense instead of active, which is going to happen to 2 million voters in Texas. You may think you're registered and you're going to show up and they're going to say your registration is in suspense because they've been purging the voter rolls. And so if that happens, what does that person do?
That person then can always call our hotline, right?
So they would step out. So they would say, I'm going to step outside. I want to go get some advice.
You can do that.
You can step
You can do that.
outside.
Now, you also just use your best judgment. Now, if you waited until 7 p.m. on election day, right? Once you're in line, stay in line and
Stay
you
in
can
line.
vote.
Yeah.
But also use your best judgment during early voting. Make sure that you're there during a time where it's not peaking and lines wrapped around the building. But our team is there to assist you. So we just want to make sure that you're utilizing our voter protection hotline and make sure that that's working for everybody.
Yep. Yeah. There's resources out there, guys. Don't get intimidated out of your vote.
This is like our Super Bowl. So we've prepared all year from the time that you wake up. We're going to call you.
Yep.
We're going to text you. There should be something in your mailbox. When you get in the car, you're going to see billboards around the county. And then when you get there, there's going to be a spirit line and a welcome line and some tambourines. And then when you get inside, right, we have the staff already laid out for you.
Yep.
Right, and if you have any questions, that you can phone a friend, call our county hotline, call our headquarters, and then we want to make sure that you're able to vote. And then you're going to give you a I voted sticker, and then that's the entire process.
And when you step outside, a new thing that we're doing at the polling party is when people are coming out, we're like, how was voting? Make sure they had a good experience, right? And answer any questions. They felt like they had a question, which can happen sometimes. But also before they leave, we like to say, can you text 5 of your friends?
Yeah.
Before you get in your car, just real quick say, hey, I voted. Send them a picture of your sticker and be like, hey, can you vote today too? Just try to lock in 5 more people.
And then one more thing after that step, after you've gone through entire pep rally line, right? We're going to have a huge party with the Colin All Red campaign on election night.
Yep.
So if you are a Dallas County Democrat, if you're a voter, join us. We have not released the location yet, but save the date.
Yep.
November 5th, 7
night.
p.m. We're going to have a huge party with the All Red campaign of the Dallas County Democrats to watch the election returns come in.
We will be there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can't wait.
So we still have opportunities to volunteer as a poll watcher or election monitor. If there's a certain place in the county where you think that you could be helpful, or you say, hey, I live next to this polling location, I want to make sure it's fully staffed, you still have time to do that. You can do that by visiting our website, dallasdemocrats.org/elections. You can see how to become an election worker, or you can reach out to our voter protection team. That's voterprotection@dallasdemocrats.org. That you can email us there, and we'll make sure that you're taken care of.
Awesome.
Great.
This is the Super Bowl.
Yep, let's go. Before we go, we wanted to make sure you know about all the resources we have to help you plan your vote. We have a voter's guide on our website and in the bios of all of our pages.
And we have episode guides for each episode as well. Sign up for our newsletter for more information, links to things that we have discussed, and reinforcing how everyone in Dallas is asking us to vote on the props. This is unity that we'll never see again.
And that's how serious this is. These extremists are counting on us to not be engaged in our elections.
That's all for this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you can. These episodes are about 10 to 15 minutes long, but we talk to everybody for about an hour. We like you enough to not leave it all on the cutting room floor, if you're interested.
Thanks for joining us, and remember,
Don't vote stupid.